What is going on, everybody? Today I'm going to be ranking every single Treyarch Zombies map that is from every Treyarch title, so every single Black Ops game, as well as every map from Vanguard and Modern Warfare Zombies. So without anything further, this is going to be a long video, so let's just get right into it. I feel like I should probably add this at the beginning. I divvied these up into tiers to making this list easier for me, and the first or last tier, I guess, is Barren or Deprived. Likely to nobody's surprise, coming in at dead last, number 55, is Duran Fong from Vanguard Zombies. This map sucks, to put it frankly. It's boring. There's no replay value. I came back to this game after not touching it for probably 3 or 4 years, and the same 5 objectives are still boring. The boss zombies suck. I hate getting beamed by a minigun in Zombies. And considering we'll be seeing a map based in Stalingrad much higher on this list, this map is an absolute embarrassment to Stalingrad and an absolute embarrassment to the Zombies mode as a whole. Coming in at number 54, again, probably not a surprise to anybody watching this video, we have Terra Maledicta from Vanguard Zombies. It is still objective-based. Beyond playing this for more than 20 or 30 minutes, it's still super boring. Same things I said about Duran Fong, but this map, but I mean, it's a better looking map, I guess. And, you know, they added the ray gun, which I guess is pretty cool, but the boss zombies still suck. The objectives still suck. It's very boring. And like I said, after 20 minutes of playing this map or Duran Fong, you are just absolutely bored out of your mind. Now, as much as this one hurts me, we have to be real while I'm making this video. At number 53 is going to be Bus Depot Survival from Black Ops 2. It is small. It is barren. You have 3 wall buys. You spawn in that small little room, and then you have literally a bus depot. You've got the mystery box. You've got this little camping spot back here. That is just about it. You have no perks. You have no power. The only thing you can really get out of the box is the ray guns, and the Mark II is about a 0.01% chance. And yeah, I mean, by round 20, you are just overran, whether you're training or you're camping like I am here. I love it. You have good memories. I have good memories. It's just unfortunately not a good map, and it is going to sit here at number 53 today. Coming in at number 52 today is going to be Knockdown on Toten. It is the first ever map in Zombies history. Back in the day, in order to unlock it, you had to beat the campaign. As soon as you did, you got popped into this little Zombies mode. It was terrifying then. Even booting this up now, the vibes are still immaculate. This map is still absolutely terrifying. There's no perks. There's no pack punch. There's no power. There's absolutely nothing. You have the ray gun, which did not reach its peak quite yet. Regardless, that was still the only thing anyone was ever excited to get on this map. And the high round strat is using the flamethrower, which has basically 0 damage, but technically does still instantly kill. Just like Bus Depot, you know, everybody has a lot of good memories on this map. It is a nostalgic map for sure, and it does deserve credit for being the first ever map that started it all, that created the Zombies mode. I just cannot put it any higher than number 52 today. And coming in at number 51, we have Farm Survival, again from Black Ops 2. It's not much better than Bus Depot, to be honest. You have perks. You still have no pack punch. The perks is really the only reason it's higher than Knocked or Bus Depot. It's still a small survival map. It's a map that me personally, I have a lot of memories on. This was me and my sister's favorite survival map way back in the day, actually, believe it or not. But due to it just being a survival map, all you have is perks. You know, again, it's just one of those maps where you, by the 20s, you're kind of stuck. So for those reasons, it's going to be here at the number 51 spot today. Coming in at 50 through 47, I'm going to group these 4 maps together. It is Van Dorn Farm, Exit 115, Zarya, Cosmodome, and Mars. The 4 basic Black Ops 7 survival maps. I mean, they really don't differ that much from each other. They're just smaller pieces of the 2 maps that we've had so far. And aside from the camo grind, they don't really have any replay value at all. You know, they've got... Obviously, like, Mars here has a different boss enemy, which I guess is cool, but again, besides the camo grind, there's not really any reason to play these aside from the first 2 times you did it with your friends in the beta, so they will sit here today. Coming in at number 46 is going to be the Archon from Vanguard Zombies. I genuinely debated putting this below the 4 Black Ops 7 survival maps. However, for a few reasons, I'm going to put it just above them. It is literally Terra Maledicta, but they just slapped a super duper ugly green poop booger filter on it. It's round based, which finally, you know, for Vanguard, finally, it was the final map to release with Vanguard Zombies, which was a real kick in the balls. It's got a really weak Easter egg as far as Treyarch standards, but the boss fight on the Archon actually isn't terrible. That's the only reason it beat out those survival maps, is because it does have a semi-decent boss fight. But again, there's not much to say. It's Vanguard Zombies. It's a literal remaster of a map that came out 6 months prior. They just slapped a green filter on it and made it round-based. The next tier that we have for maps is going to be miserable. And to start this off at probably nobody's surprise, at number 45, maybe too high for this list, I'll be honest, looking at it now, we have Transit. You start at the bus depot, the bus is random. The only reason this map looks the way it looks, the only reason there's fog and there's denizens, is because the Black Ops 2 engine could not handle what this map strived to be. But on top of that, with even disregarding those issues, there's still more. The jet gun is a buildable wonder weapon. It takes up your singular buildable slot that you have, because we are using the Victus part system, the Victus buildable system. And on this map, to do literally anything, you need the turbine. To pack punch, you have to put the turbine in the little lower engine in the power plant, and then you got to run your way all the way back to town and just hope and pray that your turbine is still there. You got to throw a grenade through the bank door, and if it's not there, you got to do it all again. There's so many issues with this map. It strived to be great, just due to the engine and a couple other poor choices by the dev team. This map sucks, frankly. It's not fun to play alone. Back in the day, it was fun to play with your friends, you know, screw around on the bus, but that is really all I can give this map, and it is going to be at the number 45 spot. These 2 maps were really neck and neck, to be honest, for being at the bottom of this miserable tier, but at number 44, we have Alpha Omega. I don't know how much I really can say about this map. It is a reimagine of a rebake. It is Nuketown Zombies, but somehow worse. In order to pack a punch, you have to, you got to mess around with all the valves, and then every couple rounds, you got to go back down there, because one valve goes, and then they all go out. You got to do that throughout the entire game if you want to get literally anything accomplished. And on top of that, you want to know what they decided to throw down there just to make your time a little bit more fun? Nova Crawlers. Yes, Nova Crawlers. That alone, this map sucks. And to make it even worse, the Easter egg is super duper weak. The Avogadro returns, cool, I don't care. This map stinks. And then the Wonder Weapon, the Ray Gun Mark IIs, yet another recycled Wonder Weapon. And the variants, the 4 variants that they have on this map, 3 variants, sorry, they're all worse than the base Ray Gun Mark II in this game. I don't understand. I know that they were rushed and this map wasn't even supposed to exist, but everything about this map just grinds my gears. It is not fun to play in any regard, whether you're going for high rounds or doing an Easter egg. It just sucks. There's really no reason to play this map. If you want the Nuketown experience for some reason, just go play Black Ops 2 Nuketown. It's not much better, but it's much less of a headache. At number 43, we have MWZ, Modern Warfare Zombies. Yet another take at the good old objective-based zombies, which I feel like most of the community will agree with me when I say this. We don't want it. We don't want it at all. And on top of being objective-based, it's timed. It is timed. You only get an hour. And considering to get just about anything in this game accomplished, it is entirely RNG based. You're just sitting around waiting, or you're running around and then waiting again. It just sucks. And then you have Warzone vibes, and you have Warzone lobbies, basically. You're thrown in there with 23 other people, 20 other people if you have a 4-stack. I mean, I know that there's a small handful of people who enjoy this mode for whatever reason. I just can't get behind it. I don't ever want to touch it ever again. It's at the 43 spot. Into our third tier of maps. These ones, they tried. Unfortunately, they're just bad. And coming in at the first spot in that category, number 42, is Forsaken from Cold War. This map is just lazy. It's literally just the campaign. You teleport from the starting room into a street. You then teleport to another street. And then you teleport to another street. And that is essentially the entirety of this map. The layout is horrible. There's no game flow. It's super duper lazy. The only saving grace this entire map has is the crystal axe is pretty sick. I'm not gonna lie, but apart from that, there's really no reason to play this map at all. On to number 41. I know this is gonna piss a few people off, but I have to be honest when I'm making this map once again. At number 41, we have Die Rise. It is Treyarch, you know, they took a swing. They tried to make a vertically inclined map. It is based in these skyscrapers, but there's so many issues. You've got the random elevators with the perks and the pack-a-punch. Everything that you need to stay alive in Call of Duty Zombies is entirely based on RNG, entirely based on completely random timing. And the perk that they added is Who's Who, which is just like a sorry excuse for like a quick revive. You know, you get brought back with nothing but a pistol, and you have to go revive yourself. And that's really all they give you. And instead of, you know, bringing back a perk like Flopper, which on a map like this would be absolutely stellar, that would solve all of the problems. You know, on this map, you are more worried about falling off the map or falling to your death than the actual zombies. And again, just like Forsaken, the only saving grace of this map is the Soliquifier. It's an awesome wonder weapon. There's a couple super easy strats you can use to get to round 100 using strictly the Soliquifier, but it will also kill you if you're not using it the correct way. The Soliquifier, the best part of Die Rise in its entirety, will also be the thing to get you killed. And if that doesn't just spell bad map out, then I don't know what does. I'm probably going to piss people off here for the second map in a row, but I just have to say it. At number 40, we're going to have Verrucht from World at War. You have perks, you have power, you have traps. The first time that we had seen any of those, this is the second map ever, so you know, you have to give it its credit for what it did. It introduced power, it introduced traps, it introduced perks. You have the 2 separate spawns in co-op where you spawn away from your teammate and you have to meet in the middle and survive your way there. You have the Verrucht sprinters, which are something we've never seen anything quite as scary. They just sprint at you faster than any other zombie, faster than you can possibly go, and they will kill you. This map is incredibly hard. The vibes, I will give it, the vibes are fantastic. An abandoned insane asylum, you hear screams, there's the dentist chair. I mean, this map is really fun. It's a fun challenge. It is just not a good map. However, I will give it the credit for being an absolute stepping stone in the zombies genre. Tier 4 is maps that I'm going to be calling air balls. It's maps where, you know, they took a shot. They really did. And for just a second, you know, it looked like it was going in. It looked like it was going to be a hit. And it came up short. Totally airballed. So let's get right into category number 4. At number 39, we have Outbreak from Cold War. It is objective based, which doesn't have a great rep. However, I do feel that this is the best it's ever done. I do have a few gripes with it. You spawn in a field, and then you're running in another field, and then they're like, here, you gotta run to the snow biome. You're just kind of doing a lot of running around. It's very random. You're running everywhere. It's super duper slow paced. The point system is different than regular zombies, which means it takes even longer for you to actually power up your guns, grab your perks, progress in the game. You get, I think it's like 45 points per kill, as opposed to the 90 and 115 with a crit. However, I just learned this recently. There are 2 Easter eggs on this map, which is pretty awesome. I didn't know that. I've only ever done the one, the easy one. And the boss fight for Outbreak actually is incredible. It is very hard. It's not one that you can just come into and expect to knock it out of the park on the first try, but it's a good boss fight all around. And the best thing that we did ever get out of Outbreak actually is Zoo, so I guess I'll give him a shout out for that. At number 38 is a map that I had so much hope for coming into it. I think a lot of us did. It's going to be the Tomb from Black Ops 6. You know, the setting, I guess it's a dig site in France. You know, you think Origins, and then you see Ice Staff, you think Origins. It just did not live up to the hype. The Easter egg is super duper easy. I mean, if you don't upgrade the Ice Staff and you are just doing the 2 lockdowns and then the escort step, that's quite literally all you need to do in this Easter egg to get to the boss fight. And then you get to the boss fight against the Sentinel artifact, and it's killing you. It's shooting lasers everywhere. It's spawning super duper OP HVT zombies. I don't get it. It makes no sense in the story. However, the layout of the map isn't terrible. Like I said earlier, it's a little bland, you know. But the Ice Staff actually is pretty fun. I would argue even that it might be a little bit better than the Origins Ice Staff. Maybe. It just caters to more different gameplay styles than the Origins Ice Staff did. And the best part about this map is, without a doubt in my mind, the Dark Ether area in the middle of the map. You teleport there, Pack-a-Punch there. You could literally just post up there if you wanted to just survive. At round 20, you know, you get the perk machine, you've got Pack-a-Punch, you've got your weaponsmith, you've got everything you need there, and it is the most gorgeous part of the map. But that alone is not enough for me to move this up. Coming in at the 37, we have Blood of the Dead. It's mob, but worse in just about every single way possible. The Hell's Retriever and Redeemer are absolutely useless. The Easter egg is unbelievably complicated. I mean, you genuinely have to be so locked in. There's so many hard steps. You have to have cheat sheets, you have to have notes, you have to have all this stuff. It is a beginner, even an intermediate zombie player's absolute nightmare. To this day, I have never completed this Easter egg. The end cutscene, probably one of the best quotes in Call of Duty history. Not even just zombies history, but Call of Duty history from Rick Toppin. I will be playing it.
I have been witness to miracles and calamities. Dimensions born and collapse. Was racist. You won't even remember.
But yeah, this map just isn't great. It's a disgrace in comparison to Mob of the Dead. And it added a whole bunch of unnecessary area. You know, you go to the new catwalk, and if you aren't loaded up with the best weapons possible when you get to the catwalk, you are fucked to begin with. And then, yeah, once you get what you need over there, you might as well not go back, because it's absolutely useless after a certain point in your game. I'm kind of rambling here, but I really dislike this map as a Mob of the Dead lover. Spoiler alert again. this map really just, it grinds my gears. I keep saying that, but this map is just horrible. We're going to move on before my blood starts to boil here. Coming in at number 36, this might also actually make some people mad, but we have Shinonuma from World at War. You know, a lot of people have the issue of the setting, which is just, you know, a swamp. It's not great to look at in the World at War version, but, you know, I don't hate the setting, to be honest. You have the random perks and all of the sheds, which, if you're going for high rounds, it is literally just restart, restart, restart. It is entirely RNG based, for at least for high rounding, especially on Black Ops 3. The story, as far as the impact of the story and the start of the story, this map is very, very important, and it did do a couple good things. It introduced the Wunderwaffe, an awesome wonder weapon. It also introduced Hellhounds, which has become an absolute staple in Call of Duty Zombies, and it might just be the easiest high round ever. You have the Wunderwaffe, which infinitely kills. You get dog rounds every 5 rounds. You also get insta-kill rounds, so you can load up this game. You can get the Wunderwaffe, you can get your perks, you can get any bullet gun off the wall, and yeah, you use the Waff on non-insta-kill rounds, and you use your bullet gun on insta-kill rounds, and you can fly through rounds. Quite literally an hour, and you are at round 100. But aside from that, all those good things I just said, I still don't think this map is top tier. It's kind of sitting in the low to mid tier in this list, but that is where it's going to be. Coming up at number 35, we have Voyage of Despair. It is set on the Titanic, which, if you would have told me that when I was playing BO2 at 8-9 years old, I would have probably exploded from the thought of this. However, they completely botched this entirely. They gave us a story that at the time nobody cared about, and to this day I still don't care about. And then the story within the actual map had nothing to do with the Titanic sinking or stopping the Titanic from sinking. Instead, you know, we'll get to the boss fight, but it has nothing to do with that. The bad layout is the majority of the issue. You know, you go for realism when you make a map, like the Titanic, or like 5. When you're going off of a real location, you're very limited when you're going for realism. The fast travels do help this map, and I'll give it to the map. The Kraken is an awesome wonder weapon. There's a few Easter egg steps that I really like. I'm really into space, that kind of stuff, so the planet steps are pretty cool. And ultimately, the boss fight is pretty fantastic. I don't know where that came from or how that makes any sense with the story, especially regarding the Titanic. But with all the good I just said there, ultimately the map layout and just the total botched. I mean, this map could have been incredible, and they just fumbled on so many things, so this is where it's sitting. At number 34, people are either going to say this is too high or too low, but we have Nuketown Zombies. This is literally a multiplayer map from Black Ops 1, obviously, and then Black Ops 2. We had Nuketown 2025, and then beknownst to us at that point in late 2012, early 2013, we would get Nuketown 11 more times, reiterated over the course of COD history. The random perks, they just fall out of the air every now and again, and you could go on co-op up to literally round 20 without having Jug or Pap. So that sucks. The only weapons you can really spin for is the ray guns, and I have spent 30 rounds, 200,000 points, and still not gotten the ray gun Mark II. The drop rate for it is absolutely atrocious. The only really cool thing about this map is knowing that, 1, Marlton is in the little shack or whatever, the little doomsday bunker, and at round 25, the moon Easter egg is actively taking place. Richtofen takes over, the eyes go blue, and then you get your fun little fire sale jingle. But yeah, I mean, it's a survival map. It's fun with your friends, but outside of that, really no replay value whatsoever. It's going at the 34 spot. Coming in at number 33 is another map that had so much potential. I think the theme of it is amazing. We have Dead of the Night at the 32 spot. You have werewolves, you have vampires. It's a murder mystery, like a Clue type of map. The theme of it is absolutely phenomenal. There are just a few things that totally, once again, just botched this map. So much potential. Obviously, the werewolves and the vampires are awesome. You got to get the silver bullets. You've got to get all this stuff that, again, is a beginner's nightmare. You get to round 20, and these vampires are absolutely everywhere. The wonder weapon on this map is pretty sick, but that genuinely does not make it any better. The Alistair's Annihilator, all that, does not make it any better. If this was your first Call of Duty Zombies experience, I wouldn't be surprised if you never played Zombies again. This map is horrible for beginners. It's a map that you can't play casually. The high rounds are hard. The Easter egg is, once again, this seemed to be a key component for a Black Ops 4 map, but the Easter egg is so complicated, so overwhelming. This is one of those maps that even the diehard guys who have completed the Easter egg, who have mastered the high rounds, just do not like it. I'm one of those people, and it will be at 33. Coming in at number 32, we have Firebase Z from Cold War. It's another map where I think the setting is awesome. You're in Vietnam. You start in this tiny little village. You talk to whatever his name is, Kraus, something? I don't know, the dude in the little window. And then you get teleported to the firebase. The defense rounds, terrible. They're fun like the first 2 times, but at the end of the day, it just messes up your game flow, especially if you're going for high rounds. Just throws a wrench in that. You have quite literally the easiest boss fight ever with the Orda. If you come in here with a triple-packed, maxed-out RPG and a Ring of Fire, the fight will be done, and I'm not kidding you, 8 seconds. That is real. You can beat this boss fight in 8 seconds. The really only cool thing about this map is the Ray K. It used to be much better. They nerfed it for whatever reason. It's a zombies mode. You know, like, who's benefiting from the wonder weapon being nerfed? The zombies clearly don't care. But regardless, the Ray K is still absolutely awesome. Ray gun, AK hybrid, it's super cool. But again, that's really the only good thing I have to say about this map at all. From here forward, this is tier 5. This is my mid-tier. Every map going forward is playable. For some reason or another, is enjoyable. There's an equal amount good and bad, or slightly more good than bad going forward, so take that into account as we move forward. Even though we're less than halfway through the list, this is kind of the point where it takes a turn, where just about every map from here forward is at least semi-enjoyable to all players. Coming in at number 31, we have Town Survival from BO2. In my opinion, this is the best survival map in Zombies history. Maybe Groston House. I know I'm not ranking that in this video, but maybe that one edges this one out, but probably not. You have Pap and Perks, the only survival map on Black Ops 2 to give you both of those. You can train, you can camp. I'm sure anybody who ever played Black Ops 2 Zombies has at least a handful of stories from back in the day playing this with your friends, your siblings, literally anybody. I mean, I had my dad playing this Zombies map back in the day, and that dude cannot game. But I mean, this map has so many good memories. Unfortunately, due to its limitations, it's not a top tier map. It's a lot of fun. You can hop on it now and you'll still have fun. There's just not enough there for me to put it any higher. At number 30, I am a stand for this map, but we have 5 from Black Ops 1. It is set in the Pentagon. The cast is amazing. You have Kennedy, you have Nixon, you have Fidel Castro with all of the Cold War negotiations going on, and then zombies break in. The theme of this map was amazing. However, again, when you're going for a realistic representation of a map, you have a lot of limitations. They didn't help themselves with the Wonder Weapon. The Winter's Howl is not good, and then you upgrade it to the Winter's Fury, and it is still not good. It will take you to about the 30s, maybe the 40s. And then your only other basis for high rounds is the electric traps in Spawn, which you have to spend 90 hours mastering. It's not a fun time. That is one round 100 that I will probably never go for. And my favorite part of this map is probably a lot of people's worst favorite part of this map, but I think the Pentagon is awesome. If I made a boss zombies tier list, he would probably be in my top 5 or my top 10. He's awesome. He comes running at you. It's terrifying the first time you do it. It's terrifying now. You kill him in a timely manner, you get not only your guns back, not only a max ammo, but you also get a bonfire sale, the rarest drop in zombies history, where your next pack punch is 1,000, or no, I'm sorry. Every pack punch within, like, the time frame, you know, of the drop is 1,000 points. If you can't get him before he takes your gun, he takes your gun. You better hope you have a second gun. He takes your shitty gun. You go kill him. You get your gun back. You get the max ammo. You still get a fire sale. He's an amazing boss zombie. However, this map just ain't it. At number 29, we have, once again, Shinonuma, this time on Vanguard. They expanded it from the original version. The WAF is still good. As far as Vanguard standards, you know, I don't hate the Vanguard mechanics. And I think in this map, they are showcased the best. It's a round-based mode for Vanguard, which was rare. It was the first round-based mode in Vanguard Zombies. The Easter egg, while, you know, not very hard, not a very long one, I think is very fun. And I do believe, maybe not a popular belief, probably a hot take again, but I think this is the best version of Shinonuma we've ever gotten. However, it just does not have what it needs to make the top tier of these maps, so it will be at 29. At the 28 spot today, we have Citadel de Mor from Black Ops 6. It's a beautiful castle map, and spoiler alert, there's another beautiful castle map, much higher on this list. The swords are pretty fun. They're weak. I complained about them being weak when this map came out. They buffed them a little bit, but they still just didn't feel very good. They won't take you very far. However, they are very fun to use. The Easter egg is rather easy, and some of the steps are just weird. I still don't like the summoning circle step. That might be a mad cause bad thing. I'll eat that one. But I don't know. This Easter egg is just, it's very easy, and the steps that aren't easy are just out of the blue weird, like that one I just listed. The boss fight is fun, however. The boss fight is also easy, but at the same time, it's, you know, it's a good beginner map as far as a DLC map in BO6. It's probably one of the more beginner-friendly Easter eggs in BO6, but again, there's just a couple of flaws with this map that I can't put it any higher than 28 as much as I do enjoy it, but that is where it's going to sit. Coming in at number 27, we have Ascension from Black Ops 1. There's a lot of stuff to be credited with this map. It's the first ever main quest, granted, not a good one, and you do have to have 4 people for it, which kind of sucks. You know, you can't just hop on there by yourself and run through it real quick without mods on BO3. But the side Easter egg, you know, you launch the rocket. If you have a ray gun or an explosive weapon, you can shoot the rocket out of the sky. Seeing that for the first time in 2011, flabbergasting. One of those things that just completely blew my mind as a kid. It also introduced Flopper and Stamina. I mean, 2 of my favorite perks to this day. It's a great beginner map. The high rounds are very easy. You've got the cylindrical penis that spins around in circles, helicoptering in the spawn, that technically does infinitely kill. You know, if you have 30 hours, you could use that as your high round strat. However, I wouldn't recommend that, but regardless, if you want to hop on one of the old games, go to a high round, I would suggest this one. You have so much open space to your disposal. You have the Gershes, you have the Thunder Gun. It is a good map. However, it is not a great map. Like I said, we're starting to get into the tier of maps where, you know, they're good. They're not horrible anymore. They're just not great. So Ascension will sit at the 27. Coming in at 26, this is a tough one to rank, especially with where this map has been throughout the years, but this is Kino der Toten at the 26. It's an absolute classic. There's been so much talk about how casuals were saying it was underrated. It was the best map ever. that, you know, all the diehard guys were saying it's overrated. And honestly, I think it really does deserve to just sit right in the middle of the pack. It's a classic map. It's fun to hop on. The pack-a-punch is easy. I'm sure we all have memories of watching Syndicate drag his way to round 115 using the Thunder Gun way back in the day. It's an absolute classic map. It's always fun to just hop on with your friends, by yourself, whatever it is. Play 30, 40 rounds with the Thunder Gun. It's a blast. At number 25, we have Togder Toten. This might be another hot take. Some people are going to want this a lot lower. Some people are going to want this a lot higher. It is Call of the Dead Remastered. It's got, you know, a cute, fun little beach theme. There are a lot of things that I like about this. You've got the Golden Pap, which fixes the having to pack-punch your gun 4 times in this game, for whatever reason that they did that. You know, our favorite Hispanic friend comes back. He's helping you throughout the match. However, there's a lot of things that I dislike as far as more of the story, to be honest. The last encounter is horrible. They traded George Ramiro, the heart and soul of Call of the Dead, which, spoiler alert, is a map that I have so much higher on this list. It was the end, at the time, of the story that we loved so much. It was so anticlimactic. And again, like Alpha Omega, I know this wasn't a map that was even supposed to exist. A lot of casuals don't realize that. But at the end of the day, I still think it's a solid map. It's a lot of fun to hop on, you know, play with the WAF sniper, play with the Tundra gun, the new version of the Thunder gun. But it's going to sit here right in the middle of the pack at the 25 spot. It's got some good, it's got some bad. Tier number 6. I called these maps foul balls. You know, they swung, they tried. Some of them, they shot one out to left field. However, maybe the wind was blowing a little bit. You sliced it a little bit. They ended up foul. So, again, keep in mind, these are maps that I think are good. They just should have been or could have been much better. At number 24, we have Ashes of the Damned from Black Ops 7. I mean, it's Transit 2. I think Tessie, honestly, is super sick. You put the pack-punch machine in her. Throughout the case of the Easter egg, you're adding more and more to her. The Easter egg is unbelievably challenging. It takes an unbelievably long time due to the nature of the map. You're running back and forth from location to location to location. The boss fight is hard. It's also one of the weirdest boss fights we've ever seen. It is entirely revolving around Tessie, which is cool. It's not really my thing. It's much better than Transit. I love the fact that they went back to that ideology, and this time they actually made contact. Did they hit the home run? Did they get the top 10 map they were looking for? Not quite, but as far as an intro for Black Ops 7, I think they did a phenomenal job, and it will sit at the 24 today. Coming in at the 23 spot, we have Shattered Veil. I mean, the setting of the map, it's a mansion. Meh. You have, once again, variants of the ray gun. Meh. The Easter egg is, again, meh. The Abomination step, I don't even want to get into it. It drives me nuts. It never works half the time. However, there are a few things that do pick this map up. I think when maps have map expansions, you open up new areas specifically for the Easter egg. I think that's awesome. And this map does it absolutely phenomenally with the underground areas. You've got to blow a hole in a wall. You've got to do all of this stuff, and you unlock new parts of the map as you're moving your way through the Easter egg. I think it is fantastic. And as much as people kind of hate on the Z-Rex boss fight, I actually really enjoyed the Z-Rex boss fight the first time I did it. And I went back and did it again for the sake of this video. And I honestly still enjoyed it a good bit. I'm not sure why it gets hated so much. It is a little weird, you know, it's not your traditional boss fight, obviously, but I enjoy it. I think the map is pretty good. I think it could have been a lot better if they would have made the theme a little bit more interesting and made the wonder weapons a little bit more interesting. Also, the WAF is back. Thanks for the 27th time at this point. But yeah, that's all I've got to say about Shattered Veil. It's going at 23. Coming in next at 22, we have Classified from Black Ops 4, which is 5 reimagined. I think this is the best casual map for Black Ops 4. This is the map that if you want to just jump in, play, you know, you're not focused on doing side Easter eggs or the main Easter eggs or all of this other stuff that a lot of the BO4 maps have. This is your map. The Area 51 Pack-a-Punch brought it back from Moon. I think that is fantastic. Adding on to this map, just giving it a little bit more fluff. The teleporters actually work. They actually take you where you need to go. The Winter's Howl is better, but still bad. So, you know, that's there, unfortunately. And also they took away the Pentagon Thief. I think with everything that they did to this map, it deserves to be higher than 5. However, taking away the Pentagon Thief and the fact that it is just kind of a basic map with some of the same layout issues, it is going to sit here at the 22 slots. Coming in at the 21, this was a tough one for me to rank, but we have Buried from Black Ops 2. I think the theme of this map is phenomenal. It's an underground western town, used to be above ground, ended up underground. It was predominantly developed by the multiplayer team, which is quite evident. It's very different to the style of maps we were getting at this time. You have everybody's favorite drunk. You know, you give him candy, you give him booze, he does all sorts of things for you. He allows you to, he builds things for you. He opens up the map for you. He locks down the box for you. And how about right when you jump down in the hole, you can chalk wall buys, get yourself some early points, and who can forget about the witch's house? You make your way through it, you fight your way through it. The first time it's absolutely terrifying. They'll steal your points. You get to the end, you kill all the witches, hopefully with some points still. They do reward you with a free perk. The wonder weapon on this map is the Paralyzer. It's awesome. It is a phenomenal concept. However, it absolutely takes a dump around the mid-50s, I believe. And the high rounds is literally just sitting there with the Paralyzer and the buildables and tapping. And then as far as the Easter egg goes, I mean, it's solid. There's a couple steps people don't like, but as far as I'm concerned, you know, like the target step, it's just kind of like a mad 'cause bad. You really only don't like this step if 1, you can't aim, or 2, your friend can't aim, and you've got to restart it. But again, at the end of the day, I think this map is super duper solid. There's a few things keeping it from becoming a top tier map, but with all things considered, I still think it's a good map. It's going to be at the 21 today. Cracking our way into the top 20, we have Revelations. This is the Black Ops 3 nostalgia boner. You're jumping from island to island with a bunch of old maps. You've got Noct, you've got Origins, you've got Dreisendracht, you've got all of these maps. The Pack-a-Punch inside of the Apothecan's belly. You've got all sorts of wonder weapons to your disposal. The Apothecan's Servant, which you can now upgrade by shooting the rocks in the sky. Whoever figured that out, by the way, you're a genius. You have the Gershes again. You have the Thunder Gun. Everything at your disposal. These make for some of the easiest Black Ops 3 high rounds ever. The egg, I think, is not phenomenal. And then the big end of Black Ops 3, what we thought was going to be the end of the zombies mode as we knew it at the time, is just Shadows of Evil 2.0 at the boss fight. It was super anticlimactic. And then as far as the nostalgia boner goes, we get Revelations, and then soon after we get remasters with the Chronicles of all of these maps pretty much, which kind of just takes away the drive to play this map specifically, unless you just want, again, the easiest Black Ops 3 high rounds. I still think this is a fun one for that reason alone. It's great to hop on, go for some crazy high rounds, and the map is absolutely stunning on top of that. We've made our way into the top 20. We've got some incredible maps coming up. Coming in at the 19 today, we have Shangri-La. As far as graphics in 2009, with how primitive they were, this map is absolutely stunning. It holds up absolutely to all the rest of the maps that we have. It is gorgeous. Now, a couple of the things that I'm going to defend that people probably don't like on this map. The Shriekers and the Bombers. Obviously, in the wrong situation, they will wreck your game. However, if you're good, you can use them to your advantage. You can kill them near other zombies, especially the bombers, the fire zombies. they will basically become a fire trap. They'll kill and burn other zombies. And then you have the monkeys. Let's say you get a carpenter. You don't want a carpenter. If you can time it correctly, you can get yourself a max ammo. Let's say you get a max ammo off the ground. The monkey scoops it up. You don't need the max ammo right now. You can go and get yourself a free additional perk. That alone, those things just make this map so much fun. There's so much variability. You have the geysers to jump from place to place. Obviously, I understand if you're a co-op player, you predominantly play co-op. This map's a nightmare. Doing the Easter egg with randoms, pack-a-punching with randoms is impossible on this map, which I get is very frustrating. But if you're playing with your friends who know what they're doing, you're playing by yourself, this map is very enjoyable. The baby gun, one of my favorite wonder weapons ever. You turn the zombies into tiny little baby toddlers and you just start punting them all over the place. You throw semtexes at them, whatever it is. You have Eclipse mode, which again is absolutely gorgeous. It takes you to the Mars version, which is what the Earth version is based off of. There's so much depth in this map. There's so much to do in this map that I think a lot of casual players don't realize. But for a player like me who spent a lot of time on Shangri-La, I absolutely love this map, and that is why it's going to be at the 19. Coming in at the 18, we have another BO1 map with Moon. The setting is phenomenal. It's the moon. You spawn in on Area 51. If Jug's there, you can risk it. You can save your points. You can get Jug so you don't have to come back later until you're ready to pap. The way it works is every time you come back, it cycles between Jug and Speed Cola. A lot of people don't like it. It can mess up your game if you go down looking at the high rounds more specifically. And then you have Excavator Pie, which, albeit, is horribly annoying. The excavators as a whole, you've got to completely stop your game, grab the hack, or do all this to keep these excavators from blowing up, or you literally have to avoid a part of the map for the entire rest of the game. You have the cosmonaut who follows you around menacingly. He's disguised as one of your buddies. He'll grab you. He'll touch you where the sun don't shine. He'll steal one of your perks. This map, admittedly, is disgustingly hideous on Black Ops 1. However, on Black Ops 3, it is absolutely gorgeous. The Easter egg on this map is amazing. I would still say in 2026, this is a top 3 to top 5 Easter egg ever. And what it does with the story, it is absolutely phenomenal. You have the zap guns, which are super sick. Again, they kind of end up shitting out eventually, but they're super duper fun to use. You have the biodome, the anti-gravity. It's a big, wide open area. You can quite literally just run around in there for hours and hours and hours. It's such a fun map. I think it gets hated on a little bit too much. It's super duper fun. If you have not had a good experience with this map or any experience with this map, boot up the BO1 version, boot up the BO3 version, whatever it may be. This map is fantastic. You just have to give it another chance. We're going into the next tier of maps, tier 7. These maps are good. These maps definitively have much more good than bad. These are maps that I will jump on just about any single day, whether I'm playing casual, high rounds, Easter egg, whatever it may be, and I will have an absolute blast. Coming in at the 17, this might be a hot take, but we have Liberty Falls from Black Ops 7. Obviously, this was the camo grind map. Supposedly, it was the most played map in the history of Call of Duty Zombies. It might be specifically for that camo grind. However, regardless of the fact that it was supposed to be a complimentary survival hop-on camo grind map, there's so many mini Easter eggs you can go do. You have the pool table for your 100 free points at the start of the game. You have the church bell. You shoot it down, you get rewards. You can turn into a superhero. You have the car trunk. If there's your little Mr. Peaks in the back seat, you get that trunk to blow up with a mangler cannon. You're gifted with more free rewards. You have the bowling mini game. There's so many side Easter eggs on a map that is supposed to just be, again, that complimentary survival map. One thing I will give, the boss spam on this map is ridiculous. You get into the 40s and you have 5-6 banglers just about every single round. You're seeing an abomination every other round. And the final encounter in the Easter egg is underwhelming. However, I think this is a fantastic beginner Easter egg. If you've never done an Easter egg before, I think this is the first one you should ever do. It is very easy to get into. It doesn't take a whole lot. It's relatively quick as well. I think this is a perfect secondary launch map for Black Ops 6. I think it did exactly what it was aiming to do and maybe even more. Coming in at 16, we have The Machine from Cold War. This was the intro to the Cold War era zombies. You've got all of the new systems. You have the augments. You have the Ethereum crystals. You can upgrade your perks throughout the game, upgrade all of your stuff before the game in the menu. This is the first game you could ever come in with your own loadout. It expanded on Noct, an absolutely classic map. Added a dark ether setting, which is stunning in this game. You have one of the best boss zombies. It's an original boss zombie to this map in the Megaton. Even when you boot this up now, you hear that Geiger scale, you hear that thunderous rumbling, you are still scared. You know, you have the Ring of Fire, he's pretty easy to take down. That doesn't take away the intimidation that he brings. The Easter egg is underwhelming. The Wonder Weapon in itself is very cool, I think. However, the variants outside of the Easter egg, they are easy to make. However, they are all worse than the original. And the final encounter, where you have to protect, you actually don't have to protect. You can literally just sit there and stay alive and kill the zombies. He will never die. However, I think this was a perfect introduction to the new era of zombies. And I mean, with what it did for the community, we had Warzone Fortnite streamers like Ninja, Tim, and Tfue out here dropping round 100 games. I think it saved the zombies community. I think it should be credited for that. And even setting that aside, I think this is a phenomenal map. Cracking into the top 15, we have Reckoning from Black Ops 6. This is what Die Rise could have been. It is a phenomenal vertical map. The Easter egg is very good. Some of the steps are super fun. I love the chemistry step. I think the word step, you know, where you have to figure out what the pin is, all of that, I love it. The Easter egg is good. The Wonder Weapon, meh. It's useless in the Easter egg. You literally don't need it. It's not that good to begin with. This is the map with the PAP room, where there's anti-gravity. It's teleporting behind you. You're jumping in the air trying to pack-a-punch your gun while you've got zombies on your butt. The fast travels. They introduced the paragliding. You can jump from the top and glide down to where you need to be. And then you get to the boss fight. The first stage of the boss fight, it's just Richtofen in a mech. It's pretty easy, you know? And then he pops out. He starts flying around. And this Richtofen man is a maniac. This boss fight is so hard. You essentially have to be hiding from him. You have to use Aether Shroud. You have to use In Plain Sight. You have to use smokes in order to beat this boss fight. If you don't have armor plates or you are below a health threshold, this dude will one-hit you, hit scan, with the Wonder Wap across the boss fight arena. It's very hard. I do not like this boss fight. However, as far as a vertical map, something that they took a swing on for the second time, they absolutely nailed it, and it will be my number 15. Coming up at number 14, we have Mauer der Toten from Cold War. This map is gorgeous. It's a city map, you know, which we've obviously seen before. However, I think they did it the right way. You have the Disciples when you're getting to the Pack-a-Punch, the Disciple Rings. The Cerberus Wonder Weapon is awesome. All of the Cold War Wonder Weapons are awesome, to be fair. However, the variants, again, for whatever reason, are worse than the original. They're still fun to use. This Wonder Weapon can take you very high just based off the fact alone that you don't really need to get ammo. You can just keep picking up the new variants off of the zombies. The Easter egg is solid. I would say with a lot of ease that this is the best Easter egg in Cold War Zombies. Valentina boss fight. Let's just be honest. You know. The boss fight itself is repetitive, I'll admit, but I still think it is very good. Without a doubt, the best map in Call of Duty Cold War, and it is at the 14. At the 13 slot today, we have Zetsubu Nushima. It is a gorgeous map. Absolutely gorgeous. I have some flaws with it. The spiders cooming all over everything is a little bit annoying. The planting and the growing is entirely RNG. I think getting that AAT should be a guaranteed drop when you're at that step in the Easter egg. The Easter egg itself is mid. Mama Spooter is pretty cool. The Pap quest in this map is fun. It's a little complicated, but again, I mean, you watch a guide, even a beginner guy can figure it out. The KT4, a fun wonder weapon, not amazing. With everything you've got going on in this map, it is a little bit overwhelming. For a beginner player, I mean, you're opening up so many doors, you're running around doing so much stuff, buying things, you know, you are going to be overwhelmed whether you're a beginner or not, just because of everything you have to get done on this map. But again, you have so much to get done on this map. I think a big thing in zombies maps is complexity. However, when you have the complexity that these maps have, you need to have the payout, and I don't quite think Zetsubo has that. And then you have like the Takio boss fight, which I think is incredibly mid. However, what I will take from it is Takio, one of the most overlooked members of this story. We finally got some backstory on Takio. This map made me actually appreciate Takio. He actually had a place in the story going forward. And again, there's a lot to do. The rewards aren't there. But at the end of the day, this is still a phenomenal map. We're in the golden era, the Black Ops 3. You really can't go wrong with any of these maps. It's going to be at the 13. Closing in on the top 10, at the number 12, we have Derice from World at War. This introduced us to so many key components as far as Call of Duty Zombies. You have the intro to Pack-a-Punch. It's the first map to include Pack-a-Punch, the only World at War map to include Pack-a-Punch. It introduced us to music. It introduced us to the monkeys. It introduced us to the increased zombie cap. The first three World at War maps, you could be at around 2,822. The health would still increase. However, there would be no more than 24 zombies. That is not the case in Derice, making it one of the hardest high rounding maps in World at War. To add on to that, the WAF, if you shock yourself with it, which is just about guaranteed to happen, you will lose Jug, which in World at War is not a good thing. You're 2 hit down, they will suck you in, it will happen immediately. You don't want it. This map is the godfather of zombies as we know it. It perfected the finicky World at War mechanics. It is a fantastic map. The camping on the catwalk with the Bettys, everybody's got memories doing it. Everybody loves this map. It deserves to be at the 12th spot. Just one spot away from the top 10, we have Call of the Dead from Black Ops 1. This map, again, absolutely stunning. The story is phenomenal. With George Romero, they're filming a movie. George Romero says, "You don't look dead enough," to a real zombie. They take him away, turn him into a zombie. This George Romero, big scary dude, is following you around for the rest of your game. He's angry. You shoot him, he gets pissed. You walk him into some nice cold water, you calm him down. If you can find a way to take him down, you get a free perk as well as a 90-second death machine. However, if you're like me and you have done the Easter egg on this map, you are not rewarded with a death machine, but you are rewarded with a Wonder Waff, which is absolutely crucial in this map due to the wonder weapons just not being very good. The scavenger, very, very cool. But again, the wonder weapons on this map, not very great. However, the The Easter egg on this map, for how early we are into the Easter eggs, phenomenal. What it adds to the story. Even, I mean, our regular crew isn't even in this map. You can hear Richtofen hiding away, you know. You got to get them boys some booze while they're stashed away. But it adds so many layers to the story. The map layout is phenomenal. And again, I touched on this a little bit earlier, but the high rounds for over 10 years, no one had cracked 100. And again, it's due to these wonder weapons being so bad. But, again, somebody, I don't know how some nerd figured this out. I'm not hating. But they use spawn mechanics to spawn one zombie in for pretty much the entirety of the round. And that's literally the only way you can get to round 100 on this. However, with all that being said, I think this is the most rewarding experience you can get for succeeding in a zombies map, doing the Easter egg, getting to a high round in Black Ops 1. I wanted to put it in the top 10 so bad. Believe me, I did. I love Call of the Dead. However, just missed, and it will be at the 11. Moving on to the 7th tier, these maps are all to what I consider to be absolutely amazing. Coming in at the 10 spot today, this might be another hot take, but this is one of my favorite modern maps. We have Astra Malorum. It's a beautiful map in space. You have Oscar, who obviously kind of sucks, but you know, you don't really get a reward for killing him like a George Romero. But as far as his significance in the Easter egg, I think that's pretty cool. The wonder weapon on this map is awesome. You're just shooting little space discs out of this gun. It replenishes when you get kills. You can pack a punch it 3 times. Makes for some super duper fun high rounds. The Easter egg is cool. I like space steps. So this Easter egg specifically, I do really rather enjoy running around, moving all the planets around, finding the missing planets, all that stuff I think is really fun. And the boss fight on this map, although alarmingly easy, I do actually really enjoy. I think the setting of it is super cool. I think it's cool that they turned it into its own separate survival map, that boss arena on Mars. And as much as I've hated the story up until this point, through Black Ops 6, through Black Ops 7, that end cutscene actually not too bad. Not too bad. It has me genuinely excited for the next DLC to come out. Again, I know this is probably a hot take, but I think this map is phenomenal. I hated it at launch. I gave it some time. I put some work in learning some of the more finicky mechanics of this map with the wonder weapon and Oscar and all the other Easter egg steps. And I think now that it is well deserving of the 10 spot on this list. Coming in at number 9, we have the Giant, which is the second launch map with Black Ops 3, alongside Shadows of Evil. It is Derice, but better in just about every way possible. Obviously, you have Gobblegums and Pack-a-Punch AATs and all that to just spice up that Derice gameplay a little bit. And as far as what it did for the game, I mean, it kept casuals invested. You know, me in 2016, I was not as much of a diehard guy as I was. As much as I enjoyed Shadows of Evil, I didn't really get good at Shadows of Evil until years down the line. Same thing with a lot of those BO3 maps. I didn't really have the appreciation for them just because I was younger. I wasn't super big into the zombies mode like I am now. But I think it was a fantastic complement to Shadows of Evil as far as just a fun survival map. You can hop on this with your friends now and it's still a blast. You can hop on this alone now and it's still a blast. It added more to the story, which I think when a survival map can add something to that story, I think that gives it a boost as well. So I really wanted to put this map higher, to be honest, but with just the scaling, just the level of maps that we have left to talk about, it is very deserving of this spot. It's going to sit at the 9. Coming in at the 8th slot, this again is probably going to be a hot take, but we have Terminus from Black Ops 6. This was the Black Ops 6 launch map, as well as Liberty Falls, obviously. I think the setting is incredible. You're on the large map. Obviously, you know, like, I'm not a fan of, like, the research facilities, old research-based maps, but I think this is probably the best one we've ever gotten. The map being as big as it is, and yet somehow with that, I feel like there's no wasted space. Especially with the Easter egg, you go everywhere, you touch everything, and even if you're just playing casually, there's no spot you can go on this map where you can't somehow find a way to train, somehow find a way to just play the game. The Easter egg, I think, is great, although if you're not doing the weapon quest, and honestly, you don't need to, it's rather short, which is a little bit unfortunate. I think the mini boss fight with Nathan and the amalgams, whatever, was a very good addition. When I first played this map and I got to that point, I was like, is this seriously the end of the map already? And then it kept going. And then we got Patient 13, which I think is a top 3 Treyarch boss fight literally ever. It's phenomenal. He has all sorts of different moves you have to learn. And it's a freaking giant squid kraken dude. If you're in the water, driving around in the boat, he follows you around. If you sit still for too long in the water during your game, he will find you. And I'm gonna be honest, the character development, as much as the story sucks, within this map, it genuinely was such a good map, such a good Easter egg, that it almost made me care about the story. And for all of those reasons, I think it is well deserving of being at the number 8 spot, and I think this is the best modern zombies map that we have gotten. Coming in at the number 7 spot, we have 9, just 2 slots away from 9 being number 9. However, I think it is better. I think the setting, the fighting ring, you have people watching you, you have the 4 gods you have to please. The story is incredible. I think the way Black Ops 4 worked is with the 3 launch maps, everybody kind of just picked one that they played a lot. And this was mine. I played this one a buttload when this game came out. As admittedly, I didn't play the DLCs for Black Ops 4 a whole bunch because that was Fortnite. You know, I was, what was that, 14, 15 during this era, so I was playing Fortnite. But the lions and the tigers, oh my goodness, I think the boss zombies for this map are probably some of the best we've ever had, although spammed a tiny bit. I like the challenges, I like the Easter egg, although the wonder weapon is mid outside of what you need it for the Easter egg. I think it is an amazing boss fight with the 2 elephants. If they were either a little harder, like a little more tanky, or there were more of them, or it was just one super beefy tanky dude with more attacks, I think this had potential to be another top 3 Treyarch boss fight right here. However, I still think it was amazing. Probably top 5, definitely top 10. But regardless, this is the best BO4 launch map in my opinion by far. And it is well deserving of the number 7. We have entered the 8th tier of maps, which I think are all perfection. I think all of these maps are stellar in just about every single way. I really don't have gripes with them. As a guy who has been playing Call of Duty Zombies for such a long time, I think these maps are the absolute best of the best. Let's get into it. At number 6, we have Ancient Evil, which is a map that before coming back and playing all these maps to make this video, I had probably only played like 3 times in my life. However, diving into the Easter egg, diving into the story, learning this map a little bit more, I have come to love it so much. I feel like that is a very popular opinion in this community, so I probably won't get flamed for that. I might get flamed for not knowing Ball until recently, but I think the setting is absolutely awesome. I think the map layout is perfect. I think, as much as I am not a super big fan of the Black Ops 4 stories, I think the story of this map is great. The skulls, the wonder weapon is awesome. You have Pegasus by your side fighting against Hercules. This is the best Black Ops 4 Easter egg by far. I mean, it is not even close. Whether, you know, you're not super duper good at Easter eggs and you want to really lock in, really learn one, I think this is the one. If you're a diehard Zombies fan, you've probably already done this Easter egg, but I would recommend that you go back and do it again. I think it's awesome. I think this is the best Black Ops 4 boss fight as well, just a notch above 9. I mean, it's one spot ahead of it, obviously. And yeah, but I think this map is an absolute hidden gem. I feel like a lot of people do not know much about this map, have not probably played it. If that is the case, I think you absolutely need to go back and give this map another shot like I did, because it is gorgeous. It is super fun to play. Everything about this map is awesome. Should have been in the top 5, just didn't make the cut, but regardless, it is a phenomenal map, and it is well deserving of the 6th slot on today's list. Coming in at the number 5, we have Gorod Krovi. With this being here, I wonder if you guys can go out and pick my number 1. But Gorod Krovi, I mean, the setting you have, it's based in Stalingrad with dragons. The map layout is perfect. I mean, it honestly reminds me of Derice. I feel like I've actually heard people say that before. I think T-Lexify said that a while back. But I totally agree. I think the Easter egg is obviously very challenging, but as a guy who's been playing zombies for so long and knows the Black Ops 3 mechanics decently well now, I think this Easter egg is absolutely awesome. The Wonder Weapon, the Ray Gun Mark IIIs, as far as high rounding, you know, they crap out at about the mid-50s, but up until then, they are super duper fun to use. It's a mini black hole gun. You have the Dragon Shield, which is, in my opinion, probably the best shield in BO3 Zombies. You have the Dragon Ride to Pack-a-Punch, which I think I can speak for just about everybody. The first time I did this, I had my absolute socks knocked off. I thought it was incredible that we were riding a dragon to go to Pack-a-Punch in a Zombies map. It was astonishing at the time. You have a great boss fight. The only gripe I have with this map, I just said that I don't really have gripes with these maps. I don't like the Maxis drones. I think they stink. They don't really fit the map. But I'm willing to put that aside. I mean, at the end of the day, they're really not that big of a deal. They're pretty easy to take out. They're humongous. I mean, you can't really miss them. But again, this is a top 5 map of all time. Regardless, it's going to sit at the 5 today. If for some reason you have never played this map, I highly suggest that you go give it a shot, because it is incredible. Coming in at number 4, we have Mob of the Dead. The setting, obviously you're on Alcatraz Island. The cast is awesome. The 4 prisoners. The story is top notch. I mean, this is really the beginning of Jason Blundell's fever dream of a heyday that he had at the end of BO2 and into BO3. I mean, you get introduced Afterlife, which is, you have 3 uses. It like substitutes for Quick Revive, but it's also like a beast mode from Shadows of Evil. You know, you have to use it rather than having a power switch. You have to use the Afterlife to power up certain sections of the map. The Warden can then also take away those sections of the map, and you have to either pay or repower them up, whether it's perks, the box, whatever it may be. You have Electric Cherry introduced on this map, an awesome perk. Every time you reload, depending on how much is in the mag, it lets off an electric shock that shocks the zombies around you. You have the Feeding of the Dogs to get the Hell's Retriever, the Hell's Redeemer. You have the Blast, the Blunder Gat to the Acid Gat. I mean, it's an insanely good Wonder Weapon. It's super duper fun, super duper creative. Obviously, I touched up on the Warden a little bit, but I think he is a perfect boss zombie. Definitely in my top 5 boss zombies of all time. You have the map exclusive guns. You have the Death Machine minigun. You have the AK. You have the Uzi. You have the Tommy gun. All of them perfect for the story, perfect for the map. The Easter egg is absolutely fantastic. Again, we're kind of in that area of Call of Duty where they're not super duper complicated yet. They're not super duper long, but I think this one is fantastic for that. You get to kill your friend to end the egg. Obviously, the story goes they're trying to escape. They hide plane parts all around the map. When the plane crashes, they kill the mole because they didn't trust him, whatever, because his plan didn't work. And then they get stuck in this continuous loop until the mole fights back. You have your 2 different Easter egg endings. This map is absolute cinema, without a doubt deserving to be the number 4 spot. If you are a new gen zombies player, if you have never played Mob of the Dead, I need you to go try this map. Or if you've played a Blood of the Dead, and you haven't played Mob of the Dead, and you were turned off from Mob of the Dead because of Blood of the Dead, just trust me, play Mob of the Dead. It is a fantastic map. You will not be disappointed. It will be the 4th best map in Treyarch history. Coming in at number 3, we have Origins. You have the cinematic intro that everybody remembers, the incredible guitar scenes, you meet your 4 younger versions of the characters that we've come to know and love at this point. It's set in World War I in France, in these bunkers. What more do I need to say? You have the 6 generators for PAP. By round 8, you better have gotten them all on and pack-a-punched a gun, because you've got a Panzer coming, or built a staff, I guess. You have so much at your disposals with the Maxis drones, the G-strikes, you have the staff quest for the ice, the wind, electric, fire. They're all phenomenal. The story is fantastic. I think this is absolutely the peak of storytelling, gameplay, high rounds, Easter eggs, all of it. I think this is the absolute pinnacle when it comes to BO2. Not quite the pinnacle of the Blundell area, obviously, because we are going to talk about 2 more Blundell maps here very shortly. And it's not exactly beginner friendly. Playing this map casually is kind of hard, if you're not getting the staffs, and you're not getting the G-strikes, you're not getting the Maxis drones, you're not getting the shield, you're not doing all of these things. It is a hard map, and the setup is rather long, but if you can get to that point, you can get all your staffs done, you can get them all upgraded, you can get your G-strikes, your Maxis drones, all of that stuff. It is a fantastic map. Again, I've said this before, I think this is the absolute pinnacle of the Black Ops 2 Zombies era, and it is going to sit at the number 3 spot today. Now, if you've been following along, you know that there are only 2 possible maps, obviously, that will be the number 1. And here at the number 2, I think it is Shadows of Evil. The setting of being in Morgue City, you have the cast, you get to learn all of these 4 new characters' backstories very quickly. You immediately care about this cast. The map layout is absolutely phenomenal. You get introduced to Apothicons, which at the time I think we were a little iffy on, but now we all love them so much. We wish we could have that era of Call of Duty Zombies back. It introduced Beast Mode, which is essentially like Afterlife from Mob of the Dead, like we just talked about. You got to open up all sorts of parts of the map. You can break open stuff, shock things, do all that stuff to get your help set up in the early game. The Wonder Weapon, the Apothicon Servant, it is literally impossible to die with this thing in your hands if you have 1 shot in it. It literally just shoots a black hole. It will eat an entire horde with 1 bullet. Obviously, on this map, you used to be able to upgrade it to get you more ammo. Now you can't. But again, with gobbles, does it really matter? If you have alchemical antithesis or a cashback, you can just get ammo back. The Apothicon Sword and the helper that comes along with that is a super duper sick specialist. Probably my favorite specialist in Black Ops 3. Maybe my favorite specialist ever. You get the intro to the Margwa. It is the first time we ever saw a Margwa, which again, if I am making a boss zombie, special zombie tier list ranking video, Margwa is the absolute single best zombie. As far as how often he shows up, how difficult he is to take down, the rewards you get, I think he is absolutely perfect. The quests are super fun. The Easter egg is super duper fun to run through with your friends, even now. The final encounter is fun, but I mean, it's weak. If you do it perfectly, it can be done in like 15 seconds. I mean, it's really not that challenging. But I mean, with everything else considered, this map is absolutely incredible. It is a diehard Zombies fan's perfect start to Black Ops 3. Jason Blundell was on an absolute heater in this era, and the man knew it. He put his name on the map. Blundell's Bagels, if you know, you know. Wanted it to be my number one, but I mean, truly, I think the map we're going to talk about next is just better in every regard by just a tiny little bit. So we will get to that. But Shadows of Evil, an incredible map, obviously my second favorite map of all time. Well deserving to be here at the number 2. Coming in at the number 1, not only my favorite Zombies map ever, but in my opinion, the greatest Zombies map ever, we have Rise and Rock. I mean, holy peak. You're in a castle in the Alps. The addition to the story with the Tank Dempsey background and everything you've got going on with that is absolutely incredible. I think this is everything that Origins did phenomenally. They managed to do better with this map. You have the 4 elemental bows, which are much easier to make than the 4 elemental staffs. They are all incredible. I think these make for some of the most fun and variable high rounds in the history of Call of Duty Zombies. You obviously have the return of Papa Panzer, which I think is perfect for this map with the setting and what you've got going on. He's not too much of a challenge, but again, once that first one comes around, you better hope you've got something to be able to take him down. I mean, as far as Pack-a-Punch goes on this map, it's literally the flip of a switch. This is a much more user-friendly version of Origins. If you are a rookie, if you are a newbie, and you want the Origins experience, you want that super duper fun, super duper in depth, you have so much at your disposal, but you don't want to learn everything at this point, play Rise and Rock. I think this is the most enjoyable Zombies experience for anyone, from the new guys down to the diehards and every single thing in between. Again, I've said this for the last 4 maps now, but Jason Blundell was on an absolute heater. This is an absolute masterclass from Jason Blundell, and I think this is the greatest Zombies map in Call of Duty Treyarch history. The best Zombies map ever. I don't think this will ever be topped. It is the number 1, and that is the list. I know this video has already been super long, but real quick, I just want to say thank you. If you guys somehow managed to make it to the end of this video, I just want to say you're an absolute beast. This video took so long to make. I mean, I had to play literally every single map multiple times in order to get a good, placement for them, in order to obviously record what you guys are seeing in the background for these maps. So if you made it this far, I would very greatly appreciate if you would just like and subscribe. It's free. If you liked this video, then you'll like a lot more of the Zombies content that I have coming up in the future. Obviously, this is a very different video as opposed to the rest of what I have posted on my channel, but we are making a flip in content creation. If you enjoyed this video, there's plenty more of it just like this coming up in the near future. Obviously, this one took literally months to make in its entirety, but again, with all that said, I just want to say thank you for making it to the end of the video, and I'll see you guys very soon. Peace.